she was obviously an independent designer and many accomplishments, but I was actually with her 2 days before she passed, and we were together presenting a project to a client, and she was still at the top of her game. I stood back and just, as I always did, and kind of took a deep breath and said, wow, she's doing a fantastic job. And then we get the call 2 days later that she was passed. So it's kind of still hard to believe, but no, she had a huge influence on me. So.
Well, thank you for joining the Ellen Cheever Memorial. I apologize about not having reached out to you guys earlier, but I can't stop crying, so.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce this young lady. Hi, I'm Danny. We're just telling everybody why you're at this session today.
Hi, my name is Kimberly. I'm a designer. I saw a few of Ellen's seminars, and I always read her articles, so I just thought, I actually had no idea that she passed away until I saw this. So I don't know what I missed, but I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, I'm Greg Galford. We're from Virginia Tech. We have Ellen's archives, and so I absolutely wanted to be here.
Thank you for your support. So what do you want to tell us about Ellen?
The archives are beautifully organized, and I've sat down one Saturday in December, like a year ago, and just read through it. The story is pretty amazing, especially for someone who was a woman at that time trying to start a business in that context. And her ability to reinvent herself and resiliency, get back up and keep going. That was just really impressive.
Excellent, thank you. And you, Renee?
Hi, and I'm Renee Walsh from Virginia Tech as well, and of course just Ellen being an icon not only in our industry but of course with our own institution.
Thank you guys so much. Hi.
Hi, I'm Tamara, and I'm here from Philadelphia, and I've been part of the leadership of the Mid-Atlantic chapter, of which Ellen was a member. So I had the honor to meet her many times, and I'm actually involved in hopefully getting a scholarship going, an Ellen Cheever scholarship to help support designers or people new to the industry. So I'm here hopefully to learn a little bit more about Ellen that I didn't know, even though I had the honor to listen to her and meet her many times, and hopefully get some more materials for our scholarship.
Excellent. Well, grab my card, and I'd like to donate the first $500 to the scholarship.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
David, 2 questions. Number 1, how do you know Ellen, and what's your favorite story? And then what does it mean to you to be an honoree?
Many years ago, about 41 to be exact, I was trying to determine whether or not I was going to stay in the kitchen business. And I met Ellen. And I went to one of her classes, and she inspired me to be in it. 41 years later, 2 months, sold my business, which was a blessing, but I never would have done that had it not been that I got to meet her and be inspired. So, why am I here? I just want to see what she's up to. Thank you.
So what we're up to is to honor and memorialize Ellen, and I appreciate and value all of your time and your energy in coming here. And this has been really difficult for me to put together since June. The story of putting this presentation together is that this is the 7th presentation that I'm honored to put on for the Voices of the Industry. I'm a living in place specialist, a realtor, an interior designer, environmental designer, a social justice activist, a mom of 2 amazing American girls, and I have a fantastic husband. And my older daughter has autism, and the world is not a fair, equitable place, but everybody that's in this room can change that. And it's because of people like Ellen Cheever that these sort of things happen. So I was putting together my regular kind of, yay, fun, design is awesome, and we can all make more money by being nicer to our clients, and we can help bridge our clients' trauma, and we can help change the world for fantastic design, as so many of us before us have done. And then I just said, you know what, F it. It was 5 minutes to midnight, and I banged out the presentation and said, I would like to talk about my friend from afar, Ellen Cheever. In 2019, there was a luncheon for CKDs and CBDs, and I was giving another Voices presentation, and I heard about it as people were going to it. I never saw anything about it, just as many of you didn't know about today's session. And I was like, Ellen is here, and there's a luncheon for her, and I don't know about it, and I can get to see her again, and it's been so many years. And it was fantastic in that room. Were you in the room at the time? Did you go to the lunch? Anybody here go to that luncheon? You were there? What was your impression of that?
It was incredible. You know, she's just was a wonderful speaker, and what she put together was so moving and inspiring, and all things that she was. So yeah, I think. I mean, is it accessible anywhere that we could see? You know, other people who have missed it.
It's in her on her website.
Okay.
So is the family keeping her website live and her Facebook live?
I'm not 100% sure. I have to talk to
And I
my
think there may have been like an emailed version that I might have too, because I passed her lessons on to my son, who is now an owner in my business, and yeah, I was like, you better read these. And this was before she passed, like that's
Awesome. I will give you guys the website. Anybody here that wants this presentation, I will email it to you guys. I will put it on my Facebook page. So that's basically enough about me. This is about Ellen and others who have made a indelible mark on the industry. So she really did pave the way. She was the epitome of design excellence. And as David had said, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name, the nephew. Joseph. She was one of a kind, really. There's people in design, and a lot of people have said icon. Icon doesn't even scratch the surface of who she was and what she embodied. Her career, and again, thanks Virginia Tech for being in the house. If there's any way for us to access snippets of it, there's some short videos here. So basically the inductees have innovated, and we're using products and designs and services and philosophies, and we don't even know about it. So they innovated for superior education in the areas of manufacturing and product design, administration, and absolutely design excellence, which is what Ellen is most known for. So since 2013, we have had this Voices presentation that I mentioned. All of you here who are NKBA members can submit for this program, and we want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. They have now got the READY program for the racial equity, diversity, and inclusion. This has to be intentional, and they're also doing women mentoring. I come from Canada via Germany, and I had no idea that the ERA wasn't ratified yet, so I still got a lot to learn too. So the Next Up program, everybody know about this? This is about bringing people into the industry. Obviously the educators in the room are doing a lot of hard work on that, but these are the staggering numbers, over 700,000 job openings. So get people into a career that is very lucrative and fun and has, you know, longevity and really impacts lives. The Community Restoration Project, cause marketing is not just a buzzword, it is something that all of us can be living and breathing. I belong to a movement called Design for a Difference, and Design for a Difference was founded by Clean House's Mark Burnett, and the numbers of projects that have been done has topped over 3 million projects in less than 10 years. So every single person can make a huge difference and impact. And the NKBA has come up with a community restoration project. This was featured the other evening at the Design Awards. The Rocky Mountain chapter got $25,000 towards the project and raised even more money. And they're teaching people who are suffering from homelessness and food insecurity how to better use the resources that they are given and make more healthy, longer lasting meals that are quicker and just more delicious. So thank you to the Rocky Mountain chapter for representing this community restoration project. And as you can see on the bottom, I've put this on every single slide just so that you can see on one page really what this industry organization puts together. We're all joined here in this room, as you heard, for different reasons. And I'm not gonna forget about you two in the back of the room. I'll call on you guys after to see why you guys were here, and hopefully you had a good time. Honoring Ellen, because we might have some tears. I'm holding it together so far. So the Bridge Year NKBA Tour, does anybody know about this? No? Okay, let's see if the slide will play. Maybe over here. I know they're supposed to like autoplay. It's on the stick. All right, well, I will send this to you guys, and why? Anyway, sorry about that. I had a feeling the videos might not work. But I will send you this. Basically, the Bridge Year Tour is a trade show for students where the different vendors and manufacturers and kitchen bath designers get together and they donate kits for the students to learn all of the different trades that are involved in the kitchen and bath industry. And it's called the Bridge Year so that people can really explore all kinds of different trades. And as you heard, Ellen is very much giving back to the colleges as well. And during COVID, what they did is they actually boxed them up and Amazon them to people. And they were able to experience it virtually and on Zoom, the different builds and things like that. So I will definitely send that to you guys. And the Design Industry Awards. I mean, everything Ellen did was award worthy. And what the Design Awards does is not just entering the competition, but it actually is bringing people together and celebrating fantastic design and having an opportunity to pick up great ideas and the gold standard of design. The Global Connect is really, again, North America is so innovating in different parts of the industry. We kind of don't give ourselves a lot of credit for how many different innovations we actually do come up with. So Global Connect is a way to sort of, put our hands together across the globe and really level up. The Design and Tech Connection actually was a one-day in-person program, and now the NKBA has brought this onto a sort of a more virtual platform. But this was a really great way to have wellness and technology and innovation all together in one place. And then of course we get to the Hall of Fame. So who are the people in the Hall of Fame? We have most recently Kathleen Parrott, which I will be featuring at the end of my presentation to kind of go full circle. And if you guys could speak to that, that would be awesome. And then Susie Williford, who's been with the NKBA and very instrumental in programs, especially the connectivity over the internet and staying in touch, sort of monthly touch points and the webinars and all that good stuff. Really, it's fantastic what she's been able to do. And then we have Skip Woodhall with Ventahood. Anybody here specify Ventahood? Know about the magic lung? It just innovation, the technology is fantastic. Laser Product Industries, and then our friend Gunnar Baldwin. I'll be going into depth on that. Of course, Cosentino, who's hosting the bash this evening. Everybody going to that? Yes? Yes. Go have fun at Mangoes. Gloria Estefan owns it. And then Jane McNeil from 2020. Everybody use 2020 here, or Chief Architect, or one of the other products. And the technology in my career, I started in 1997. And it was just the nascent days. And then once the emails and scanning and all that great stuff, color printing really became affordable, the possibilities are just endless. And I think David and I were chatting a little bit earlier, the client's expectations of those renderings, and they would just want it magically to look like that. It takes hours and hours to try to create one of those images, but here we are. And then just other people that have supported the NKBA from within. Charlotte Bridenstine, one of the longest serving employees at the NKBA. Sergit Kelsey from Capital Cooking Equipment. Is everybody familiar with his story? The reason we have commercial grade ranges in residences is because he reverse engineered it to make it safe for a residential situation. And then all of the other manufacturers sort of retooled their styling and put those different features in sort of on a watered down, sort of more manageable level, because we don't all need only 25,000 BTU burners on our range, and we don't need all the air to be sucked out of our house and have to do makeup air. And Kenneth Anderson from Task Lighting, Sub-Zero Wolf, Mary Jo Peterson, she belongs to the Living in Place Institute as well, an amazing author. The NKBA is at the forefront of authorship of guidelines for excellent design in the kitchen and bath industry. And you'll hear how Ellen has really gone the extra mile with that as well. And then David Newton and Ken Roll, Elliot Safran for Kitchen and Bath Design News. You know, really, it's the highlight of my month is when I see all those wonderful trade publications come in and see what you guys are all doing, and it makes my day. It's fantastic. And then Pug and Pole, Wood Mode, Kitchen Bath Buying Groups, the other publications, Casmar, Futin Cheng, Concrete Countertops. Look on the show floor now how much the concrete influence is still there. The innovations that are on the show floor today just absolutely abound. There is a styrofoam house that is encased in concrete that is completely wind resistant, weather resistant, more energy efficient. So go find them. It's amazing. You can put it together with your spouse if you wanted to. It's like a Lego kit. Very cool. VT Industries, again, who remembers the days where kitchens were basically on-site built cabinets with laminate countertops? So we've come a long way. And then again, Wood Mode. Wood Mode really features quite prominently on the Hall of Fame. And here's just a couple of the throwback pictures. If you know what some of these companies are now, there's the humble beginnings. And then, you know, being in the marketing sphere now, seeing how the representation is, you'll see that there's a sort of like a common denominator there. A lady in a pretty dress making a easy, simple meal for their family with really cool cutting edge counters and tools and innovation. Hank Darlington, longtime author as well, and with the NKBA, Tony and Michael Joseph from DateCore, Dr. Phyllis Markison, again in the education branches, CKD certified kitchen educator, just one of the few that has that, and certified bathroom educator. Plain and Fancy cabinetries, again, humble beginnings, and then Judith Mary Bark from New Zealand, CKD. And then Jim Kringle, you were talking about the different people that have influenced us in our career. I started in 1999, and then the trajectory of the knowledge and thirst for knowledge just kind of grew. Then Ron Mace, Universal Design, really, it's unbelievable how many colleges have folded that provide universal design education when this really should be the gold standard, and Ellen was at the forefront of bringing that kind of education to people. Then we have Gary Sheffield, Leslie Hart, Conestoga Wood Corporation, Norman Hahn, Curved Cabinets, Roburn, AIKD and CKD, Ronald Ringenberg, founding member. Then DuPont Corian, I'm in Rochester, New York now. Buffalo is right around the corner. The Love Canal, you know, you just think about how do we make these things happen? Who remembers when Corian was the first kind of half dozen colors there? I think it started out with beige and sort of off-white to begin with. And then we got streaks, and then we got speckles, and now we have really fantastic products that are innovating. Again, William Beamer, CKD from Wood Mode, Joseph Fenn from Scioto Kitchen Sales, Martha Kerr, CKD and CBD educator for the NKBA, Louis Listordi from Less Care Kitchens, Arthur Shapiro, Percy Spencer, inventor of the microwave. And yes, that story is true. It was an accident, and the rest is history. So this picture really kind of threw me for a loop because the caption at the bottom says Rochester, New York. I think these are the kind of kitchens that we're tearing out, and now they're all back in fashion again, so now we're all trying to restore them. So if any of you haven't checked out Renovation Angel yet, please do, but I'm pretty sure that these kitchens are not what they're looking for, but it's worth that. Somebody out there loves it. Especially the yellow refrigerator with the matching toaster on top of it. But as you can see in this design, which is emulated a lot in what Ellen was teaching, is adding curves, adding angles, adding different types of lighting, having open shelving, the different pops of colors, the different pops of the textures. And yes, people, that is carpet in that kitchen.
Wow.
Oops. Okay, we're down to 1994, 1991. You can see how far back Ellen goes. It's so awesome. Viking ranges, fabrication plywood products, Denville Chandler, Robert Kroll, also education, Quaker made cabinetry, kitchen compact, Dwight Graham, Raymond Martino. It's early dealer network. Can you imagine a time where we didn't get together and really celebrate all the tools that you need to be out there selling our products and dealing with supply chain issues and logistics and things like that? I remember in the early days, around the time that I met Ellen for the first time, I was like, wow, if she can do it, I can do it. And then the next day I'm out there in a snowstorm in high heels, a pencil skirt, and I'm unloading pantry cabinets. And I was like, why did I tell these people they needed all these large pantry cabinets? That was really dumb. They could have had smaller cabinets with countertops. It would be much easier for my day today. And then we'll be going a little bit more in depth with Alfred Moen. And then of course we're here for Ellen. And she's most known for just being an awesome human being. I know it's just, at the end of our lives, we do just end up being a couple of pictures and a couple of articles and X number of words, and we're as alive as the people that remember us fondly and often. And I'm just so grateful that Ellen left such a huge body of work in order to achieve that. Klaus Paradis, he was the first AIKD, now NKBA executive director. And then Richard Chapman from the Butchler Brothers was the founder of the Kitchen Cabinets Manufacturer Association. And then Alan Dresner, CKD, and is of the NKBA Industry Schools. Leon Johnson, the 15th CKD. So that was 1991. We had number 15. I think we're up to 14,000 now. So we have a long way to still go to have all of the membership be certified, but it is definitely worth the time and the energy to get certified. Alex Manugian from Masco and Delta Faucets. Little known that Delta actually optioned the technology from Moen for their lavatory faucets and for their kitchen faucets. So it's just interesting to see how one company can make another company money and also get into their own right as their own branding. Richard Bailey for the trash compactor. I don't know who's put a trash compactor in lately, but it definitely was a thing, and that's great. Now we're recycling, but the innovation at the time, I think it's just really cool. And then Robert Cursaro is a NKBA executive director, and then of course Meryl Latt, and then the founder of AIKD and the kitchen industry manuals with the University of Illinois, Robert Wieland. Everybody study these, like from page to page to page, and you're like, oh, that's cool, and yeah, that makes sense, and yeah, why didn't I do that? So definitely the technical manuals are now the sort of guidance for our guidelines with the NKBA. Dr. Ralph Wilson Jr. for Wilson Art Classic Laminates, and then Wade Afflerbach, AIKD president to organize the education products. Has anybody been part of an organization where everything's kind of fragmented and disorganized, and one group's doing one thing over here and another group's doing another thing over there? Well, now with technology, we can share that, we can have best practices. Again, going back to Ellen, that's what her thing was. She was always so giving to just share all of her knowledge freely. And then Frank Berg, also a founding AIKD member, and Bechtold Roll-O-Matic post-forming machines. Anybody still doing a lot of post for him? No, we're all in luxury world? Yes, okay. There's an example of an early Marilette kitchen with the quintessential curved cabinetry. What do you guys think about no handles? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah, it's kind of my pet peeve, you know. Hardware is the jewelry of the cabinets. And then Dean Church, the first AIKD president in '63, and Louis Colbert worked with the University of Illinois Technical Manuals as well and the CKD programs. William Cranston and Fred Pence from Thermador, and then Peter B. Chaddick from the early AIKD member as well. So it was like a little bit of a good old boys club as the beginning, as you can see, as we get back to the earlier days. And you can see how many honorees there were back in 1989 as well. Patrick J. Glavin from the Kitchen Bath Business Magazine, Cameron Gamble, changing New Orleans market from job built to factory built. Great idea, right? Might not be here like this the same way. Lawrence and Milton Grella, first Kitchen Bath Business Magazine, and development of the National Kitchen and Bath Conference and Industry Show. So we have those guys to thank for this. And you can see the links, and I'd be happy to send them to you. And then Quaker Made Sales and Design, Roy Jacuzzi, Louis Jen with the first downdraft range, Stanley Joseph, the first fully self-contained range hood, and first electric barbecue from Decor. Again, one person innovates, and then the rest kind of fall in line and try to one-up and make things better, which is great for all of us. John Kennedy Jr., CKD and Time Magazine's AIKD Man of the Year, and Herbert V. Kohler Jr., who did the bold look of Kohler colors to the market. Anybody still have some of those retro colors at their house? Yeah. No? Charles Lemmerman, Maxine Livingston, who was a consumer editor for the Business Building Supply Home Centers. Rosemary Mahaffey, she won a Special Staff Merit Award. She's the epitome of NKBA staff, and oh, she's the longest one, sorry, the other one was very long too. And then Heather E. McCullough, pioneer of modern kitchen planning, and then Maurice Peterson, CKD dealer to be recognized with the CKD. And Leon Rader, the true father of the NKBA, somebody had to start it. Fred Rexford from Elker, and Emmy Wayman, CKD manufacturers representative. And there's an example of Thermador and Helen E. McCullough. And now we're with Ellen. So, as we've been talking, that she really innovated in her own career, which David said, unprompted. Setbacks and obstacles made her stronger, and she is really, I think she's the #1 game changer. Doesn't get much better than Ellen. So here is a shot from her website on ellencheever.com. You were asking about the presentation that she did 3 years ago. She's very generous with that. The links are on her website, and you'll be able to see her whole entire presentation. She did one with all of her commercial work, and then she did the other with your firm there, Joseph. She really highlighted and featured the wonderful clients that you guys had and that she was able to enjoy in the last years of her life. And you know, I don't want to get too personal. I had a bunch of personal Facebook pictures, so I suggest that you guys go take a look at those and you know, just get to know her a little bit better and see that even though she was suffering from cancer, which I was devastated to find out, that she did have a lot of joy and love in her life, thanks to your amazing family. And you know, it's just remarkable to have heard all the adversity and challenges that she had gone through. So as you can see here, this is a green design that she did for Living in Place, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I saw this when she presented it to us in Rochester, New York, and we were just blown away by the entire presentation and the beautiful butler's pantry that she did and how flooded with light it was, and how she showed that you can have an accessible design without it looking accessible, and raising the wall ovens and the venting and having the warming drawer on the side. It's fantastic. Once you start going down the rabbit hole and checking out all the work that she's done and start reading all the articles that she's written. It really is the best education that you could possibly get. And here she is at the ribbon cutting of Virginia Tech. So were you guys there that day?
No, unfortunately, I wasn't working there yet.
You weren't working there yet, but
And I teach in that space every day. That space is next to me every day.
excellent. And as you had said in the intro for the ladies that weren't here, it basically is so well organized that it was 100% her doing. So it, you know, there she is, you know, unveiling it, and it's wonderful. There are some videos on YouTube that will feature this, so I highly suggest that you check those out. And this was a video where it's in her own words. It basically tells about why she did it, and since the video is not working, apologize about that. She basically says, as a 48-year-old veteran of this amazing industry, she wants to help young people learn from an article maybe that was written 40 years ago and open a specification and see a design solution and really further their own career without having to have that constant struggle of making mistakes. From Ellen, I learned that I can teach somebody how to design a perfect kitchen in 8 hours if they're willing to listen and then go and do another 10,000 hours of reading and research and walking trade show floors and sitting with elders and being mentored and discovering really what the breadth of this industry is, and just spending time with people that do this day in, day out, get their hands dirty, go to job sites, you know, do a Terra, do a community build. It's really fantastic. So I'm sorry that this one is not going to play, but please check it out. What's the time, Kathleen?
You've got about 28 minutes.
28 minutes. Well, I promise not to talk too fast, and I know it was quite tedious to read through all the lists of the honorees, but I just wanted to explain, you know, it's a community, and there's so much that these names are attached to everything that you see and use every single day, and the water conservation and efforts and things like that. The story of Alfred Moen is that with the two-handle faucets that were common at the time in 1937, he scalded himself. And he's like, there's gotta be a better solution to this. So he went on to invent and innovate and never really owned the company that is his namesake. He worked there until 1942 and developed 75 patents, many of which were in fields unrelated to plumbing. He was an aviator, and he was a marketer, and he just came up with these amazing solutions. And at the time, the sales were pretty much in every single new construction post-war. This is what the builders specified. As you can see on this lower picture, this is really kind of cool. There's a ledge for the soap on the tub spout with the diverter. And then having the aerator have a swivel, that's kind of a cool innovation as well. And then just the innovations in the cartridges and the ease of use, and the fact that you're buying it basically for a lifetime is very forward thinking. And truly, he was very, very remarkable. And so you can see up here that the Museum of Modern Art, you know, it may not belong there, but it was chosen as one of the 150 top designs in industrial design from the last century. So, you know, it's up for debate whether these beautiful artifacts should belong in museums or not, but it's fun to use them every single day. And my friend Gunnar Baldwin, has anybody heard about Gunnar Baldwin? Yes? So Gunnar is a very remarkable person as well, and I'm sure that he knew Ellen. I didn't have time to ask her 3 years ago, but he was an efficiency specialist with Toto. So he almost single-handedly solved a problem that they didn't know that they had. Manufacturers in America were not ready for the environmental conservation laws that were already passed. So instead of playing ball, some of the manufacturers spent a lot of money to say, oh, we don't need that. Well, he had a blended family with 8 kids, and he's like, I definitely need that, I'm on septic. So he figured it out and was looking at Swedish toilets, and then through the research with Swedish toilets, got to the point where he decided that Toto was the way to go with their glazing and different things that they have. So he was with them for quite some time in the 90s, and he was honored in 2016. So here you can sort of see the timeline and the introduction timeline. So things happen kind of in pretty good clip. And here's a picture of him with my associate, Louis Delaware, who's a co-founder of the Living in Place Institute, and this is 2016 when he was honored. And there's a picture of him with his family with the luge, because he was kind of known for that. And again, necessity is always the mother of invention, and this really just shows how much he did. And there they are with their home, with the water conservation, and we all get to enjoy the fruits of his labor and connecting us globally. There's a really great video of his entire story up on YouTube, and I suggest that you watch it if you want to hear sort of soup to nuts, somebody from their own perspective talking about how they got into the industry and how the whole industry kind of works on the back end. And then we get to Kathleen Parrott, and you guys probably know her quite well. She, again, going back to the knowing of Ellen, I thought it was appropriate to feature her. And what do you think Kathleen's biggest impact was?
Her thorough and dedicated knowledge of kitchen and home organization systems and how they function and how the human being works within the kitchen. And she's just a really good researcher, and her scholarship around that topic and building that body of knowledge around it. Really impressive.
Excellent, thank you.
And just a genuinely kind person. Being an educator, she wasn't just about being the voice of information and all the knowledge that she had to the students, she also did it to her fellow faculty. So we felt always inspired and grateful to have her there to be able to mentor us the same way she did the students.
Great, and that's what it's all about. So ladies, what brings you to this topic?
Well, I think we just saw the words of wisdom from the Hall of Famers, so we thought, why not learn from the best?
There you go.
Same idea.
Same idea. All right. Well, words of wisdom, right, David? So you were honored, right? Did I miss a whole section? You were not honored. You're just everywhere. So Kathleen, as you can see here, is her picture from the article where she received the emerita status. Really a game changer, and I couldn't have been more tickled when in 2020, when we were still together in Vegas, and I saw her sweet smiling face come across the screen. I was like, yay, go women in construction, we need more representation, and here she is, and she was honored. There's been over 90 Hall of Fame inductees, and the number of women is really on the small side. I don't know how I missed it, but Josh McClure was honored, and he was the first African American president of the NKBA. And unfortunately, at the time in the 70s, he was not even able to stay in the same hotels as his counterparts. And these days, when you see everything on the news, we're really still kind of struggling in some neighborhoods to have people really feel safe and included. Kathleen was the professor of apparel, housing, and resource management, and in the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences. That's a mouthful. And as the member of the Virginia Tech community since 1988, the induction was because of her contributions in the growth and professionalization of the kitchen and bath industry. And I feel like this really echoes, I'm sure, what they said about Ellen in her induction, because that's what it's all about, is that professionalization. And as Ellen had done her scholarship in housing issues has been published in more than 20 book chapters, 20 peer-reviewed journal articles, and has been supported by different organizations, including the Department of Agriculture, the EPA, and HUD. So again, you had mentioned the research before. Ellen was more facing towards us, and Kathleen's more facing towards the education community. And she was a founding faculty member for the Center of Real Life Design, and she also participated in the Virginia Cooperative Extension programs, serving the citizens of the Commonwealth. And very cool that she went to Cornell University, since I live in upstate New York, and my other business partner, LaDonna Erickson, is in Nebraska, so that's very cool that she went to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. See, we're all kind of connected. We kind of meet in different circles and, you know, cross paths. And I'm sure that you've all had experiences on the show floor where you've bumped into friends old and young. So the planning guidelines I had talked about before, she was participating in the codes and standards of the second edition. And again, the environmental issues in housing, kitchen and bath design, housing for seniors, and cross-cultural housing perspective. And this line here I thought was the most standout. She consistently brought a high level of intellect, knowledge, and professionalism to all her endeavors, including the significant contributions to the NKBA's educational activities and engagement with industry leaders, such as Ellen, and the awesome center and her life's work being housed there. I was told by a friend that I'm a paperholic, and when I saw Ellen's presentation and she had gone through everything and all the moves that she'd done and all the companies she had been with, I was like, it's okay if I keep some of that stuff, because one day I might have somebody to mentor and they're gonna be all completely jazzed that this old paper is there and that they can learn from all these other award-winning projects and these scholarly articles. Now the NKBA is doing the 30 under 30, and as you know, Ellen was always with people of all ages and really gave back tirelessly. The event we attended, right? It was jam-packed. We didn't care about the food. There was standing room only, and we just listened to her for several hours because it just was, the energy was palpable in the room. And there were a lot of young people there that had been brought by older people such as me. And this is the 10th year of the 30 under 30. They brought all of the COVID virtual people to the show this year. So there's actually 60 30 under 30s running around. So if you see them, talk to them, thank them for their efforts. The Boones were honored the last 2 consecutive years, and Maria Stabrafeni's son, Mark Stabrafeni, was 3 years ago, as well as Ebony Stevenson. She's a certified living in place proponent as well, and ambassador. She's the class of 2014. And I was very blessed that I was able to introduce this young lady to Ellen Cheever's work, and she told me at the end of her mentor period, when she was still in high school before she went off to college, that Ellen Cheever is always in her heart. So to be able to pass that on to somebody else has just been fantastic. That, you know, one person, David said it great earlier when we were chatting, we don't know how many people she's impacted with her joy of this industry and her love for all of us individually. I don't think there's one person that she's ever met that hasn't been positively transformed from that experience. And I just want to personally thank you, David, for just sharing the rawness of the fact that that was a pivoting point, that whatever she said to you or how she looked at you or what she was exuding in that moment transformed your trajectory. And you're not the only one, and I bet it's probably like thousands of people.
Maybe even millions.
Maybe even millions. because again, I have a lot of paper in my basement and I don't want to throw out one copy of one article that I have read over the decades. And honestly, if there was times where I was struggling a little bit, I would just look at one of Ellen's design. I would crack open one of the manuals that she wrote, and you know, clients can be mean. So it's important that we're not mean to each other. And I think Ellen gave that gift to us, is that no matter how dark the times are, and no matter how much of a struggle it is, we can be natural born designers with the 10,000 hours of really hard work and study. And it's because she was willing to document every single aspect of what is right in the design world, especially the kitchen and bath design world. Because I'm sure that a lot of you don't know that she was also ASID, and she was one of the first people that kind of made it okay to bridge that gap, because we come from a compartmentalized world. And to have a game changer and an icon like Ellen say, it's okay that you serve multiple masters, it's okay that, you know, one day you're wearing this hat, another day you're wearing that hat. You have to be authentic and true to yourself, and you have to give every single day the best that you've got. And I realized from that luncheon, I was able to hug her one last time, and I was able to look her in the eye and thank her for making my career too. Because I wouldn't be here now for the 7th time in a row and bumbling through my presentation, you know, with a heavy heart, and at the same time, just the utmost of gratitude and joy for somebody who has given that much of themselves. And I implore all of you to take your passion, your authenticity, your drive, your just gratitude, and be humble and confident at the same time, and spread that love as Ellen Cheever did. So thank you guys all for your time, and if you have any questions, I'm here for you. And I really absolutely appreciate that all these young people can follow in Ellen Cheever's footsteps.